thought Kate Martin did really, really well overall. She had a spell where it was like bucket, steal, then came down the other end and got an assist to Steph Dolson as well. Like, think she's looking really, really good.
Picture this. It's game night for the Laces basketball club. They're facing the undefeated Vinyl Basketball Club, stacked with stars like Aaliyah Boston, Dearica Hamby, Ryan Howard, and Arike Ogunbowale. The tension's high. Everyone's watching the big names. Winning team becomes the top in the standings. But there's an unexpected hero emerging.
So there's probably not one individual player that has benefited more from Unrivaled than Kate Martin. Look, Kate Martin was somebody that came into the WNBA and nobody, and I mean nobody, thought she was going to make the Las Vegas Aces roster.
Kate Martin, the player, some said, only made it to the WNBA because of her friendship with Caitlin Clark, is showing everyone what she's made of. Martin's tearing it up in the Unrivaled 3-on-3 league, and her stats are turning heads. With 11 points per game, she's outscoring Angel Reese. Yeah, you heard that right. And that's just the beginning. Martin's all-around game is helping the Laces basketball club remain undefeated and dominate the league. Want to know how she's silencing the doubters? Let's break it down.
And then obviously the season went on, people lost hope, and then when she was announced for Unrivaled, everyone was like, you know what, Kate Martin doesn't belong in Unrivaled. And let me tell you one thing, Kate Martin belongs in Unrivaled. So after having a double-double in the first game, she hooped again last night.
You know what's crazy? The Laces basketball club is dominating in the Unrivaled 3-on-3 league, and nobody saw it coming. These ladies are absolutely feasting on their opponents, sitting pretty at the top of the standings with a perfect 3-win, 0-loss record. But that's not even the half of it. Let's talk numbers for a second. The Laces are crushing it in every stat that matters. They're leading the league in rebounds, assists, and steals. We're talking about a team that's grabbing almost 40 rebounds, dishing out over 14 assists, and swiping more than 6 steals per game. And get this, they're doing all of this while committing the least fouls in the league. That's not just good basketball, that's smart basketball.
Chisels out space, Money Martin. Oh yeah!
You gotta love Money Martin. Kate Martin, just an excellent shooter. She runs the floor so well. One of the things that Coach Wade talked about was coming into this league being in shape, and Kate has done a great job of being prepared and running the floor.
But wait, there's a twist to this story. The Laces are doing all of this without Jackie Young, their 2-time WNBA champion and Olympian. Young's been sidelined with knee soreness, which would be a major blow to most teams. But not the Laces. They've barely missed a beat, winning by a wide margin during their first 2 games.
She was really good again. So you can see here with Kate Martin. Kate Martin hit a couple of big threes. She walked in, hit a big shot. And the big thing with Kate Martin is her defense is there and her 3-point shooting is there.
So how are they pulling this off? It's simple, teamwork. Every single player on the Laces is averaging double figures in points. That's not something you see every day, especially in a league where most teams are built around 1 or 2 superstars. Take their recent game against Vinyl, for example. Tiffany Hayes went off for 26 points, while Kayla McBride wasn't far behind with 22. That's the kind of balanced scoring that gives opposing coaches nightmares.
The team kind of goes where Alyssa Thomas goes, because what Alyssa Thomas does is allows you to run Alyssa Thomas the 5 or at the big, and then Kate Martin, Kayla McBride, Tiffany Hayes, or when Jackie Young comes back, any combination of those two becomes one of the best in the league.
You know what's even more impressive? The way the Laces are outperforming teams that were expected to dominate. Remember all the hype around the Phantom and their roster full of all-stars and Olympians? Well, the Laces are making them look ordinary with their unified and strategic brand of basketball.
The Laces are going to be so hard to beat because outside of Steph Dolson, every one of them can move, and Alyssa Thomas can guard bigs. Alyssa Thomas can guard big, Jackie Young can guard big wings, Tiffany Hayes isn't small, Kayla McBride just is Kayla McBride. And we can't forget, like, through the first 15 games of W season, Kayla McBride was nuclear hot. She was absolutely nuclear hot. Like, the ball hit her hand and would just go with the Lynx. When the Lynx were... No one thought the Lynx were going to be that good during the Commissioner Cup run at the start of the season when everyone thought it was just a fluke. But, they got K-Mac too. But Kate Martin, I was so impressed.
It's like watching a well-oiled machine in action. Every player knows their role, and they're executing it to perfection. They're not relying on individual heroics or highlight reel plays. Instead, they're winning with good old-fashioned teamwork and basketball IQ.
The Laces are the most dangerous team, especially when Alyssa Thomas is on the floor. They are so dangerous. Every single player in double digits. Kate Martin was doing so well up to a point. She was taking people on. She was finishing with her left hand. She was shooting hook shots in the post. Like, she was really good. Like, I'm shocked at how good Kate Martin was.
And let's be real for a second. This style of play is refreshing in today's basketball landscape. We're used to seeing teams built around one or two superstars, with everyone else playing supporting roles. But the Laces, they're flipping that script on its head. Now let's talk about Kate Martin, who some are saying is becoming the face of Unrivaled. Remember when everyone was saying Kate Martin only made it to the WNBA because she's Caitlin Clark's bestie? Well, those folks are eating their words right about now. Martin's not just hanging with the big dogs in the Unrivaled 3-on-3 league, she's making them look like puppies.
So, of all players in Unrivaled that were good, the one that I think I am not shocked about, but I'm like most happy about, is how well Kate Martin played for the Laces. Like, she looked real good. Like, and I mean that like on both ends of the floor. Like,
let's talk numbers for a second. Martin's putting up 11 points per game. You know who she's outscoring? Angel Reese. Yeah, that Angel Reese. But Martin's game isn't just about getting buckets, nor is she putting up bricks. She's filling up the stat sheet with 5.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and 2 steals per game. That's what we call an all-around player, folks.
she's obviously a glue player. She's obviously somebody that can do a lot of things. She can do a lot of things well, maybe not one thing spectacularly, but she does a lot of things well. But I was really, really impressed with how Kate Martin looked today for the Laces.
In their latest showdown against the Vinyl Basketball Club, Martin showed she's not afraid to mix it up inside. She scored 8 of her 11 points in the paint, going toe-to-toe with some serious talent. We're talking Aaliyah Boston and Dearica Hamby trying to protect the paint against her. That's a lineup that would make most rookies shake in their sneakers. But Martin? She just laced him up and went to work.
Again, Kate Martin hitting freaking Dearica Hamby with a post move. That was crazy.
Now, if you've been following Martin since her Iowa days, you're probably sitting there thinking, well, duh. This is the same player who earned the nickname Captain Money Martin for her clutch performances. But what's really impressive about Martin's game is her ability to elevate everyone around her. One of her Iowa coaches said it best. Kate has this knack for making everyone on the court better. And isn't that what you want from a teammate? Someone who's not just padding their own stats, but making sure the whole squad is shining?
More entertaining action. In the first game, Kate Martin was kind of the star, kind of the breakout player. She had the winning basket in the game. And Kate had a good all-around game.
You want to talk about performing under pressure? In that first game against the Phantom, Martin didn't just contribute, she sealed the deal. After playing a key role throughout the game, she stepped up and hit the game winner. That's the kind of ice in the veins move that separates the good players from the great ones.
As you can see here, for her squad, there's the cut to win it for the Laces, who crushed the Phantom. Phantom looked rough out there.
And let's be real for a second. She's not just keeping up with the league's brightest stars, she's outshining them. Ever wonder what it's like to go from warming the bench to lighting up the scoreboard? Kate Martin's journey from the Las Vegas Aces sidelines to unrivaled league superstar is the stuff of Hollywood scripts. But there's one play that changed everything, and it involves making an Olympic gold medalist look downright foolish.
For Kate Martin, I think it was kind of like a proving she belonged sort of moment, which is cool. Not that she didn't before, but you know, she was a role player for the Aces, didn't play all that much, was sort of a sidekick in the minds of people to Caitlin Clark at Iowa, to the non-Iowa fans. Now she's being presented as the face of the Valkyries, but we haven't seen so much from her. I think that was a good showing for her on that squad.
Let's rewind the clock a bit. Martin's path to the WNBA wasn't exactly paved with gold. She was picked 18th overall in the 2024 WNBA draft by the Las Vegas Aces. With the Aces, Martin averaged a measly 2.6 points, 1.6 rebounds, and 0.9 assists per game. Not exactly numbers that make you sit up and take notice, right?
Like, the Las Vegas Aces drafted 3 players. Obviously, Liz Kitley was injured. Everyone thought kind of, Liz Kitley's probably going to go and make that Vegas team eventually. And a lot of people thought Deasia Fair was going to make that team. But Deasia Fair gets cut, Kate Martin makes the team, and within 5 games, she is a starter. She's hoping in the WNBA.
But here's where things get interesting. In her first 10 games with the Aces, Martin was getting decent minutes, about 19 per game with even some as a starter. Not bad for a rookie. But as the season wore on, her playing time took a nosedive. By the time playoffs rolled around, she was barely seeing 3 minutes of action. Ouch.
And then her season kind of spiraled. Like, she went, through no fault of her own, she just stopped playing. The team brought in Tiffany Hayes, and her role was diminished to end of the bench.
Now, you might be thinking, was she just not good enough? Well, hold your horses. Despite limited opportunities, Martin was known for her insane work ethic. She was always the first one in the gym and the last one out. So what gives? Why wasn't she getting more playing time? Well, rumor has it that some of the Aces veterans were getting a little green-eyed. Apparently, Martin's becoming more popular than some other player. And let's just say that didn't sit well. Looking at you, Asia Wilson.
The top-selling WNBA player merch, Caitlin Clark, #1 in jersey sales, Angel Reese 2, Sabrina 3, Kate Martin 4. We talked about this earlier in the season. I feel sad that Kate Martin also hasn't gotten as much playing time the second half of the season. I feel like she deserves more, or maybe she deserves a different team.
But Martin didn't let the lack of playing time get her down. She kept working, kept improving, and kept that positive attitude. And when the Golden State Valkyries came calling in the expansion draft, she was ready to show the world what she could do. Remember that game against the Phantom Basketball Club we mentioned earlier? The one where Martin blew past Brittany Griner for an easy layup? That wasn't just a fluke. That was Martin showing the world what the Aces had been missing out on. She demonstrated speed, ball handling skills, and a basketball IQ that left Griner, an Olympic gold medalist, mind you, looking like she was stuck in quicksand. You know what's even crazier? Martin didn't just score on Griner once, she outperformed her for the entire game. While Griner managed a measly 7 points and 6 rebounds, Martin dropped 12 points and snagged 10 rebounds. That's right, she out-rebounded the Olympic center. So what changed? How did Martin go from riding the pine to dominating the court? It's simple, really. She got an opportunity, and she seized it with both hands. The Valkyries saw what the Aces couldn't, or wouldn't, see. A player with immense potential who just needed a chance to shine.
Let me talk about Kate Martin. First of all, Natalie Nakase has experience in the NBA. She has experience in a championship WNBA team. What's important? Corner threes. That is where Kate Martin thrived this past season. 38% on corner three specifically. That floor spacing ability that Kate Martin's going to bring.
Now, Martin's expected to be a starter for the Valkyries, playing a significant role in the team's success. And the Aces? Well, they're probably kicking themselves right about now. They had a diamond in the rough, and they let her slip through their fingers. You'd think after outplaying an Olympic gold medalist, Kate Martin's path would be smooth sailing. Guess again. In the Laces' second game, she faced a challenge that had nothing to do with basketball skills and everything to do with dirty plays. And at the center of this drama, none other than Dejanay Carrington.
Kate Martin is playing on an Unrivaled team, and so's Dejanay Carrington. And Dejanay was up to her old tricks. It just seems kind of odd how this keeps happening out there involving Dejanay Carrington and Kate Martin. In this case, before it was Caitlin Clark. And does Caitlin Clark's relationship, and what I mean is friendship, with Kate Martin, is that influenced here in this, once again, egregious action, really multiple actions by Dejanay Carrington on Kate Martin?
Let's talk about Carrington for a second. This isn't her first rodeo when it comes to questionable tactics. Remember that eye poke on Caitlin Clark last season? Yeah, that was her. So when Carrington stepped onto the court against the Laces, she brought her reputation with her.
What really happened here, man, with Dejanay. Okay. Nice pass. Oh, man. So you're going to help her up right after you clobber her like that, right? You're going to help her up after you clobber her like, didn't even look at her. Oh, she's so shady.
But Carrington took things to a whole new level in this game. We're talking attempted hits to the head from behind and vicious hand slaps that left everyone watching in disbelief. It was like watching a WWE match break out in the middle of a basketball game. Fans were stunned, players were shocked, and the refs? Well, they're blind, as usual.
That's what the miss.
Here, as the camera pans over, she reaches in and swipes at the ball, but how hard are you going to do it exactly? You trying to break somebody's arm? Look at that. Look at that. Boom. You know, it's the small things that ain't great.
You'd think this kind of behavior would throw Kate Martin off her game, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Martin didn't just keep her cool. She turned the heat up on Carrington and the rest of the Mist. While Carrington was busy trying to play tough, Martin was out there actually playing basketball. And boy, did she play. Her passing was crisp, her shooting was on point, and her focus, unbreakable. It was like watching a masterclass in how to rise above the chaos and just get the job done.
Now, if you hear what the reporter was saying, she was alluding to DeJounte being upset because she felt she got fouled on the prior end. She got fouled on the end prior, so you know what? I'm going to come on the other end. I'm just going to...
The stats tell the story. Martin walked away from that game with 10 points and 4 rebounds. Carrington, a measly 2 points and 3 rebounds. Talk about a backfire. Carrington's attempt to throw Martin off her game ended up throwing herself off instead. But let's zoom out for a second. This game wasn't just about the numbers. It was about Martin making a statement that said, "I'm here to play ball, not to play games." And that statement echoed loud and clear across the league.
Sana, and she hates Caitlin Clark, and she resents all the shine that Caitlin Clark gets and all the way Caitlin Clark anointed herself as the madam, the godmother of women's professional basketball before she even entered the league. And DeJounte's had a tough time living up to her potential and fulfilling her talent.
After the game, analysts couldn't stop talking about Martin's performance. They called it a masterclass in focus and discipline. One commentator put it perfectly. Martin let her performance do the talking. And boy, did it speak volumes. This is the kind of resilience that separates the good players from the great ones. It's one thing to perform when everything's going your way. It's another thing entirely to shine when someone's trying to dim your light. And Martin? She didn't just shine, she blazed.
In case you're wondering, Kate Martin's team, the Laces, beat the hell out of the Mist last night. Even though the Mist has Brianna Stewart, Jewel Loyal, and DeJounte Carrington on this team. DeJounte, by the way, where were you? 1 for 10 from the field.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This game wasn't just a win for the Laces. It wasn't even just a personal victory for Martin. It was a statement to the entire league. A statement that said skill, focus, and teamwork will always trump dirty tactics and attempts to disrupt. So, what does this mean for Kate Martin's future? Well, if her performance in this game is any indication, we're looking at a player who's not just talented, but mentally tough as nails. The kind of player who doesn't crack under pressure but thrives in it.
I'm really excited. This league is all about opportunity, and you just need one shot, right? And I am very thankful for the Aces and everything I got to learn there, but I'm really excited for this new beginning and to build something from the ground up here with the Valkyries.
Kate Martin isn't just playing basketball. She's redefining what it means to be a team player in a league obsessed with individual stars. While some doubted her abilities, Martin's performances for the Laces have silenced the critics and turned heads across the league. Coach Natalie Nakase sees Martin as a cornerstone for the Golden State Valkyries, praising her versatility and skill set. And she's not alone in her optimism.
Coach Nakase is somebody you're going to want to run through a brick wall for. She's a truth teller. She's going to be honest with you, but she matches that with love and support 100%. So those are the kind of coaches that you just want to give your all for. And I'm super grateful that we got to build a relationship in Las Vegas, and we get to continue that in San Francisco.
Analysts predict that Martin's second season could be a turning point in her career. We've seen this story before. Players who transition from limited roles to more significant ones often experience a dramatic leap in performance. With her work ethic and ability to make everyone around her better, Martin is primed for that same trajectory. As the Laces continue their undefeated run, one thing's becoming crystal clear. Underestimating Kate Martin is a mistake no one's going to make twice. This rising star is just getting started, and the best is definitely yet to come. The Aces? Well, they might be kicking themselves for letting this gem slip away. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.